All
Okay.
right, there you go. Thank you, Cindy.
All right.
I'll introduce Cindy shortly. So, Mary Wessler um, is the director of membership and components. Components means chapters and other groups in IFMA. And she had, I think I know Mary for maybe close to 10 years.
Hmm.
And she has been instrumental in helping this chapter get where it is. So I want to introduce Mary. She works in Houston. We see her every year at our workplace, and she's a foundation of IFMA's support team and staff. So Mary, welcome and talk to us.
Thank you. And hi, everyone. Thanks for having me here. It's great to be here with you and have the opportunity to speak directly with members from across the Caribbean region. I want to take a moment and recognize the work that's brought us to this point. The work of unifying and strengthening the chapter at a regional level is not a small task, and it takes time and collaboration and many conversations behind the scenes. This is something that has been thoughtfully discussed over time, conversations about alignment and how best to support members across the region have taken place over several years. And last fall, when I met with the chapter leaders during World Workplace, we had that opportunity to really reflect together and recognize that the timing was finally right to move forward. So for IFMA, this step is about creating a strong and sustainable professional home for facility managers across the Caribbean, one that reflects the diversity of the region while also connecting you to IFMA's global network. The chapter is now positioned to better support members at every career stage and provide the relevant opportunities for engagement and connection. And this is specifically to the members on the call today. Your involvement truly matters. So strong chapters are not built by structure alone. They're built by engaged members who participate, share ideas, and help shape what the chapter becomes over time. And I also want to recognize the volunteers who stepped forward to lead during this period of alignment and change. Their willingness to serve, really helps to ensure that the chapter remains focused on long-term value for the entire membership. And then as you look ahead, I encourage you to stay connected and look for ways to get involved. There's real opportunity here to build something meaningful together that strengthens the facility management profession, across the region. And then on behalf of IFMA Global, thank you for being part of this community and for your continued commitment to IFMA. And I truly, truly mean this. We are proud to support the new chapter, and we look forward to working with you as you continue to move forward. And I wish everyone a productive town hall today and a great conversation ahead.
Great, thank you, Mary. So, what we've been talking, as Mary said, we've been talking about various of us are across the Caribbean, been talking for years about, okay, wouldn't it be nice? And the we do run into each other sometimes at World Workplace. Different groups run into each other. Last year we had about 20 Caribbean people, and we actually we got together a bit, and there was this forum that was talking, asking how to strengthen the Caribbean, and yeah, so it was a big, that just it just came up, and so that just kind of it gathered speed. We put in a proposal. It was accepted by the board. And so, from a mechanics point of view, what has happened is we had three chapters in the Caribbean, and we had the Trinidad chapter, Trinidad and Tobago, one country. We had the Cayman Islands chapter with John Santiago. John is on the call with us now. And we had the Barbados chapter under the patronage, the leadership of Michelle Strawn, and previous to that was Ian Rogers. And both the Cayman Island and the Barbados chapter was struggling with a very small number of members and having a hard time. And when we spoke to the leaders, they had to say, yeah, we are struggling. And so what, just from a functional perspective, they were collapsed in, and all the members put into the Trinidad and Tobago chapter, which has gone through a name change. So the board has remained the same, Trinidad Tobago chapter having been quite active with maybe 60 odd members. We did top out at about 75 pre-COVID, but then it simmered down a bit. We have had Caribbean members in the chapter for years, on and off, and always have a handful. And when we do the professional development, we have had a lot of Caribbean people from Jamaica, Guyana, Barbados, Grenada, big group from Grenada, Bermuda, Bahamas, and St. Kitts, all coming into to FMP and Essentials and CFM. So we already had been operating kind of pan-Caribbean, so the idea was solidify this and formalize it. We did try to collaborate as much as we can with people around the Caribbean as much as we could to get, people, and nobody said, no, this is not a good idea. All right, so that in a nutshell. So what I would like to do now is just introduce the current board and the current committee chairs. So I am Edward Cassan, I'm the president. It's my second round as president. I was president for 3 years during COVID, and back in again. I have been involved in the professional development side of it since 2018, I think. Cindy G, whose camera is on. So I'm going to ask all the committee chairs and volunteers to turn their cameras on as I move through the crowd. So Cindy is the past president, immediate past president, and she's also happens to be the treasurer. So she keeps the money tight. And so Cindy was president for 2 years, just prior to this financial year, and then she has been on the board for several years. Cindy, you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Cindy Guevara, as Edward would have said. I am a CFM with IFMA since, I believe, about 2018, somewhere there. I have been on the board since 2022, I think, yeah, somewhere around there. My first engagement with the board was as the vice president level, and the following year I was elected to president. And as Edward said, I served a 2-year term, currently serving as the treasurer for this term going forward. I have over 20 years plus experience in FM at all levels, ground level coming up. That's basically how I came into the industry. And I'm currently facility manager at a government institution. Currently managing roughly about doing the maths, about 500 plus thousand square feet of space. And I have been supportive of IFMA ever since I've joined. I really appreciate the vision that they have and where I believe FM can go and where it deserves to be as a profession. So again, I just want to say welcome to everyone, and I hope we can really have a very, productive and fruitful meeting going forward. Thanks.
Thanks, Cindy. Okay, I want to now introduce Richard Gunpat. Richard is the vice president of the chapter. He had this, I think, his second or third year, and he's also the chair of the IFMA Sustainability Community and involved with IFMA in various ways. Richard, you want to say a few words?
Okay, thanks, Eddie. Hi, everyone. Good evening. So, as Eddie would have said, currently the vice president of the chapter right now and serving on the ISC community as the global chair. Apart from that, my background is in mechanical engineering, and I work at the Airports Authority of Trinidad and Tobago as the mechanical engineer and assistant manager of the engineering services department. I've been with IFMA for a very long time, since 2010 thereabouts, I think. So a long time with IFMA, and through my involvement with the chapter and the community, we have won various awards s- Small Chapter Award. We won the Web Communications. I won it individual Distinguished Member Awards and assisted with gaining awards for the ISC community over the last 2 years. So that's pretty much it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. And then we have, I'm looking for Jackie. Jackie Gittins, cameras on. Jackie is our secretary, and she is also the events committee chair. And Jackie, I'll throw it over to you.
No problem. Thanks, Edward. So, hi, everybody. Welcome to the Caribbean chapter. So, just to give some history, I was introduced to IFMA and TT IFMA around 2017, but began taking a more active role and being certified around 2019. And then more involvement with as committee chair, through the years going into 2020, 2021, and so. I've been having so much fun as secretary that I think I might be off with the amount of years, but I think it's about 3 years I've been the secretary for the chapter. And as for my role, career-wise, I manage both HSSC and facilities and maintenance for a distribution company within Trinidad and Tobago, with some regional reach. And yeah, it's been really exciting being part of the chapter, coordinating all the different events, and just all the exposure and stuff. As a member of IFMA and by extension TT IFMA, now the Caribbean chapter. So thank you, and looking forward to getting your feedback and questions.
Thanks, Jackie. Okay, I want to introduce now Bianca Shade. Bianca's on twice. Bianca is our membership committee chair. She recently took that role up pretty recently and has a little committee going, so she's been doing good work. Bianca, over to you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I
Yeah, a little soft.
Hearing me any better?
Better.
Okay. So as Edward would have mentioned, I am the membership chair. I joined in the later half of last year. And one of the, as you would have seen, one of the pretty newer members of the TT IFMA, now IFMA Caribbean Chapter. I'm working on a volunteer basis in this membership role. Sorry, the two is giving me a double feedback, so sorry for stuttering a bit.
We don't hear it.
So yes, I'm one of the newer members on the TT IFMA board, and thanks Edward for allowing us to join and to offer our services. I do think it's an important role to play because being in the FM industry for about 6 years, I see the need for the community to grow and to raise awareness. So being on the membership team, that is what we would be willing to foster. We have been a little silent, but as the meeting go along, we would join you and share a little bit more of the membership committee. A little bit of background in terms of what I do. I work with the Maritime Financial Group as the Property Management Unit Coordinator.
All right, great. Okay, let me move on now. I was going to do this later, but let me do it now. And what we have done is, Nicholas, I'll come to you in a little bit. But what we have done is one of the concepts we came up with for the chapter is to immediately get on the board across Caribbean presence. And I got this from one of the other communities in IFMA, which is where we appoint, like how we can appoint a committee chair, because all the committee chairs are appointed, not necessarily voted. We will appoint country coordinators. So we then have, and they come on the board as ex officio members. So we have more presence on the board, and then we get a much wider, richer conversation rather than the same group trying to decide what happens in the Caribbean. So I want to introduce a few people here. On the screen, on the camera, in the blue shirt is, and I want to sit to my right, but I don't know how you're going to see him, is John Santiago, the previous president of the Cayman Islands chapter, who has agreed to be the Cayman Islands country rep. So John, welcome and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
You want to introduce yourself a little bit?
I'm John Santiago. Been with IFMA, I believe, since 2012. Somewhere around there, we got together, a group on the island, and actually started the second chapter in the Caribbean, which was the Cayman Islands. Trinidad and Tobago was first. Multiple different roles with, in the chapter. Started off like co-programs chair, then moved up to vice president, then been president for a little while, I should say. And, just trying to get everybody together, was kind of the hardest thing here, since our island is very small. And yeah, I'm just looking forward and excited to combine chapters and have a Caribbean chapter. So we all work together. Together we're stronger.
All right, great, fantastic. I also, thanks, John. Forgive me, guys, I'm pushing through quickly. I want to cover some ground. I want to also introduce, he was around a while ago. Is Lawrence here? Lawrence, I see you now. Lawrence Buddha Singh. Now, Lawrence he's going to represent St. Kitts, even though he's a pretend St. Kittitian, but we'll take him at face value. Lawrence, you want to say a couple words?
Sure. Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks very much, Edward, for the intro. Just as everyone else said, I think this is a fantastic opportunity. I mean, I'm Trinidadian, but I have been living and working in St. Kitts at an American veterinary research university, Ross University of Veterinary Medicine. I am CFM and I'm also CIWFM. So I understand, part of my role is to understand both British and American FM, pretty much the same, just different lingo here and there. And I've been with IFMA for this year would be going into my 10th year. And I have over, I would say, 17 years plus managerial experience, having worked in the UK as well. So I think I have a fair bit of experience. And having collaborated between St. Kitts, Trinidad, and a couple of colleagues in Jamaica, I think this forum and this undertaking here is a fantastic achievement for all of us to reap the benefits of the IFMA professional background and professional association, for us to build on everything that everyone explained before me, and to get better opportunities for the upcoming potential FMs in the region. and create more awareness around the profession, because whilst it might still be sort of well known in Trinidad and maybe Cayman Islands and Jamaica, Barbados, and some of the other Caribbean islands, FM isn't as yet. So, and that's what we're here for, to bring more awareness and make sure that we're here to support and guide each other in our career journey. Thanks, Edward.
Thank you so much, Lauren. So, two people who I'm looking for online and not seeing are Michelle Strawn from Barbados. She was the president. She's also agreed to come on as country chair. And I was looking for Sandra Logan from Jamaica, who also agreed to come on for the Jamaica. So they are not on, unfortunately, but unless they're on, I'm seeing somebody saying Samsung phone or something, unless they're on and want to raise their hand, then we know they're on.
Hey, Edward, Ricardo here. I had seen Michelle jumped on, but I'm not sure if she had connectivity issues. I actually
Right.
checked the Barbados site, but I didn't see any movement on that old chat. So I'm not too
Right.
sure where Michelle is right now. But I did see her log on. Bennett was logging on earlier.
Yeah. Okay. If she jumps back on, we let her raise her hand and we'll let her introduce. All right. So I will continue. I wanted to make sure we recognize the people from the other countries who are already jumping on onto the board. And so a couple of other volunteers we have on the local board, which so far is Nicholas Alves. And Nicholas is involved in both the membership and the events committee. And I think he has to become a chair of a committee soon because he's very involved. And Nicholas, you want to say a couple words?
Hi, afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Edward. So Nicholas Alves, been a member of IFMA since 2018. Only recently, last year, started getting more involved in volunteering and being part of what used to be Trinidad chapter, now with this big step, the Caribbean chapter. Very excited to see this new phase of IFMA in the Caribbean and its growth. On a professional level, has came up in facility management over the last 18 years. And for the last 2 years, have operated my own facility management company, specializing in gated communities, specifically for Trinidad and Tobago. And just really glad to see this, be part of this new step of IFMA.
Great. Thank you very much, Nicholas. And then the last person who is on our group is Deb. Is Deb here? I'm not sure. I don't know. I saw her earlier. All right, I'm not.
I know she was logging on from the road. So
Yeah.
she
All
may
right.
have some
She may have
connection
dropped off.
issues.
Okay. And then we have Alana, who does our communications. She's a part-time resource, and she does our chapter invites and stuff like that. So the idea is, of course, so what we want to get. I already have somebody WhatsApping me here volunteering. We're trying to get. We basically look for volunteers. But we'll talk about that later. I want to just ask Cindy to give a little quick rundown, a little 5 minutes, on how on maybe the birth of the chapter from the beginning. All right, because I think a lot of people jump on the call and they don't necessarily know. John talked about Cayman Islands forming and a few years ago, and so Cindy, you want to just talk about the original Trinidad chapter for a little bit?
Original Trinidad chapter. Okay.
Yeah, the one that doesn't exist anymore.
All right. Well, I don't want to take up too much time because I'm sure a lot of people have questions that they want to get into.
Yeah.
And most of what I can share with you guys is available on our website. But just to give you an idea as to the reach or the depth of what TTIFMA does, the chapter was incorporated in 2009, and we actually celebrated our 15th anniversary in in July, I think it's July, August of July, I think it was July of um, July of 2024. We celebrated our 15th anniversary. On the website as well, you will also get a history of our past presidents, which would include persons like Ron Halliday, sorry, Aki and Ford, I believe they're online. You have Giselle as well, who are also trained instructors of IFMA, including Edward himself. So actually there are 4 trained IFMA instructors coming out of Trinidad and Tobago, something which we are very proud of, which have been able to develop over the years. The chapter has been quite busy over the past, I would say, 4 or 5 years. Again, that pre-COVID activity as well. We would have seen where the chapter would have been involved in a number of events and engagements with different bodies, including the TT Chamber of Commerce, where we would have held conferences. We are also actively involved in the TT Trinidad and Tobago Bureau of Standards, where we are assisting with the ISO standards as well. But the chapter has been quite active over the years, and that longevity has really shown, given the number of years we have been in operation, and we have been working together to try and develop and push FM forward for our members, and to really, bring the industry, or bring the TT side of the FM industry to more awareness to the C-suite level. We have been involved at various levels in terms of our reach at the governmental level, where we have been assisting at a point in time with the development of a government FM policy for Trinidad and Tobago. We continue to have our member engagements through our tours and our events, the webinars that we continue to have as well. Again, we were able to endure through the COVID period, notwithstanding we had a little drop off of membership at that time, but we have been able to regroup and to build that back. Again, looking at some of our achievements, not too long ago would have been our where we would have been able to win the small chapter of the year, which was really a monumental achievement for us over the past couple of years, and we're very proud of that for the period 2025. We have also been engaging with stakeholders from the National Training Agency, which again supports the development and training and standardization of training and development and credentials for persons in various industries. And again, we're looking at the FM industry that we're looking to support. So basically what we do is offer our training, we offer our networking for our members, which again will now extend throughout the Caribbean. And we are really looking forward to, supporting you guys, and more importantly, hearing from you. That's really important. So again, that's what we are in a nutshell. Again, any more information or anything you will find out, you can check our website, or you can always engage with us directly for any further information.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Cindy. So, we love WhatsApp in the Caribbean, right? So we have 2 WhatsApp groups now, the Caribbean chapter for members, and then we have our FMs at large for non-members who we want to encourage to become members. So we could also WhatsApp on the WhatsApp group, or find any of us on that, because all of our phone numbers are on it. So, interesting that you mentioned liaison with government agencies, training agency, Bureau of Standards. Those organizations and the Chamber of Commerce, those organizations, of course, exist in all the countries. So some of the things we would want to start doing through the membership is engaging with those organizations across the Caribbean. So and having the same connections and to advocate. So I want to just recognize a few people. I'm not going to put them on the mic. One is Akian Ford, who was the first Caribbean person to be put on the IFMA Global Board of Directors. And she was initially, before that, she was on the American Advisory Board. So she got to know a lot of people around the Caribbean. And it's people like Akian, who I have gone to over and over and over again over the years. She's like a mentor to me, who has talk to John Santiago, call this one. Just make sure you ask Mary for the list and keep and this kind of stuff. So Akian is a foundation person. Then and she's now on the board of the foundation. So she's now said, Eddie, come on, you guys got to do scholarships. So always love to have Akian around. Giselle is currently on the IFMA board of directors, also passed through the American Advisory Board, also acts like a mentor to me and many of us. And she was 40 under 40. There was a IFMA selected 40 under 40 professionals some years ago, and she was one of them, and very powerful lady, very involved in Rotary. I also just want to recognize Tyrell Melville. Tyrell Melville is the first president of IFMA, the local IFMA chapter. He was the one who stood up and took the mantle when it started 17, 18 years ago with Tina Shaus. Tina Shaus came and helped sign the get the charter approved at IFMA headquarters. So Tyrell, welcome. We see each other all the time, but it's not often we see each other in one of these forums. So Tyrell is from the beginning, and again, strong foundations. I'm not sure if Vaughn is here, but Vaughn Halliday is the other instructor. He's also a past president. So I just wanted to recognize them. All right. So the key thing before I open up to questions, we didn't do any PowerPoints and stuff. We just wanted to talk. So how the chapters run is you have a board of 4 people. The annual, if my year runs July to June, so this board will carry on until June, and then probably next month we'll open up for nominations and elections for the next board year. So anybody want to run can run, and the positions, the voting positions are president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary. Whoever was the president for the last term is the immediate past president. That's a non-voting position. And then we appoint, or people volunteer for committees, and we appoint a committee chair. Now, a lot of times, because we have all been small chapters, we've had one person in a committee, and sometimes nobody in the committee. And I think now that we have a big coalesced group, we can move towards actually getting to having committees that work as committees. So we actually, our events committee and membership committee now already, already operate as, we already have 3 or 4 members in each one of them, and so it's starting to happen even before the merge. So I have been calling out, and a few people have volunteered. What we would love to see are several robust committees with people in them from across the Caribbean. So when we do work one many hands make light work, so we spread the load, and 2, we get diversity in the committees rather than it being a Trinity-centric type thing. So we get diversity across the Caribbean and represent. So the committees, and I'm going to just list them here, maybe I'll put them in the WhatsApp chat afterwards, are membership committee. They keep in touch with membership, etc. And so I'll let Bianca talk about membership in a little bit. And outreach to membership, people who are coming on, people who may be about to expire their membership, keep them engaged. We have the events committee, of course, they are organized events. And now that we're Caribbean-wide, we're going to end up with a lot more virtual events than country-specific. And but events committee is very important. And again, we want to get a robust events committee. Communications, we've never really had a communications committee. We've usually had one person, and a communications committee would be very useful, where we can now craft our communication strategy better. Then we have publications as a subset or separate to communications, newsletters, articles, etc. professional development, we already have that, and that's working very well. And then we have things like sponsorship, scholarship, and I think one that I don't quite have the right name for, which is what Cindy talked about, where we liaise with government organizations, universities, go and advocate to do presentations, for example, students about FM as a profession, etc. So outreach, maybe for want of a better word. And I think that is very important. We've done it before in the past, kind of on an ad hoc basis with a few of us jumping in and jumping out. But I think having a good committee across the Caribbean doing that, I think would be very useful. So those are all areas where people can volunteer and be in a committee or chair a committee. So Bianca, would you like to just talk before we go questions and answers, just briefly, you were going to talk about membership,
Sure,
strategic
Edward.
alliance. Yeah.
Yes, strategic alliance. So the membership, as Ed would have mentioned, is really on twofold to serve the membership, to make sure that the chapter is really bringing the benefits and to you in specific, and also to bring awareness to the general Caribbean at large for now of facilities management. I think someone would have mentioned before that although the island is small, it is also not well known. So we're doing that on two levels. Now, when we, on the TT chapter, we would have reached out via, as we say, WhatsApp, email, and get that communication. So in the transition, that communication to the membership at large was really left to, you would have heard a lot of communication from Edward and from the STAR chapter, from the communications, official communications. And we would be in the near future reaching out to members individually as well as via email. I guess, Edward, you may mention this further on, but we are in the process of kind of changing over the branding just from the TT IFMA. So when you get communications emails for a little while, you will still see it from TT IFMA membership. And so I know I would have sent out some communications for the volunteers so far, in terms of those who have already indicated that they would like to volunteer. So we reached out to get your feedback and to chat a little bit with you. So we may be going further to send you a personal WhatsApp, in alignment with the email as well, to reach out to you. Just wrapping up. So what the membership committee is really about is serving the membership, the current membership of the Caribbean chapter, to see how we can better align the offerings, strengthen networking, and do strategic alliance, and how we can serve to improve the reach of facility management around the Caribbean. Yeah?
Thanks, Bianca. Yes, fantastic. Anisha, I see you. Hi, how you doing? Anisha.
I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here. And I look forward to watching the Caribbean chapter grow and be just amazingly successful.
Thank you very much. Anisha also works at IFMA headquarters in the component section. So she's somebody who we liaise with, as well as Mary, quite often. So thanks, Anisha. So Bianca, some really good points there. So guys, we are in transition. It's not easy to just change the email because we don't want to lose everything. And right now, Alana's working on trying to change the website through Star Chapter. So Star Chapter is a management database system we use to manage chapters. And so everything runs through there. So when you registered, we have a list on Start Chapter to say who registered. So I could see up to before we started, it was 106 people registered up until this afternoon and so on. And so when you get an email and it says postmaster, that doesn't mean it's one, long ago we used to get something saying postmaster because your email didn't go through, but this is postmaster because that's just the email address of what Start Chapter uses to send emails out when we say send an email. And it is a better way for us to manage communications. So, so if you see a postmaster email, it's from us. It's from the chapter. So
That's good to know.
Yeah, thanks. So yes, you would have gotten a lot of communication that I would have initiated in the transition just to kind of get it done quickly, especially setting up the WhatsApps and stuff. But now the membership committee and the communications committee, as we get it formed, will take that over. And then you'll hear a lot more from Bianca and the communications and the membership people. So having said all of that, I've kind of run through my list, and we want now to open up the floor to questions and answers. And what I would suggest is, if you're gonna unmute your mic, we would love to see your face. Also, just say hailing out from so and so country, so we could get a good idea. I know some of the countries that some of you are from, but I don't know everybody's face. So let's open the floor.
Hi guys, I just wanted to kick things off simply because I have another meeting. But just wanted to take this opportunity to say, a big hearty congratulations. I mean, this is phenomenal. This is fantastic and should be celebrated. Eddie, I thought we would have some soca music or something. I'm just saying. But for the next time, But it's just worth so much time, so much effort, So, it's wonderful that we could be here to kick these things off. I know that there are many things still in train, as Eddie and the team mentioned, but we look forward to your support. The only way this chapter could continue its lovely history is through volunteerism. So it's that call to action to remain with us. Bring your friends, bring your other colleagues in the industry, and let's truly grow this Caribbean chapter. It could be Caribbean people even on the other side of the world. Akian has a cool story. Maybe she'll share that with us shortly, of someone who reached out to her. But it's that opportunity to really gather the Caribbean FM task force, if you want to call it that, and do what we do best, So congrats again to the team. And we look forward to all that the future holds.
Thanks, Giselle. Anybody else have any questions or comments? No questions. Anybody want to hail out? Anybody here from Bermuda? Bahamas?
Eddie, I can hail from Barbados, man.
Barbados, Ricardo.
Yep. Bahamas is here.
Bahamas, Marvin. Good to meet you. Good to see you.
Yes, sir.
All right. We met before, Marvin?
Yes. I'm always at World Workplace.
Right, I thought so. Right. You see, cameras are on. Okay. Anybody
Eddie,
here from Jamaica?
How about general question? What about Caribbean professionals, the diaspora, living in and working in other continents, if you want to say North America or the Americas, South America, Europe, that wants to be part of the Caribbean chapters because they don't have a long-term plan of being there?
I'm going to let Mary answer that question.
Yes, I'm saying the more the merrier. I will say Edward and I worked yesterday via email and identified a few little bugs on people being able to add the chapter mid-year, so in the middle of their membership term. So that is in with the IT ticket right now to get resolved. But if anyone wants to join the chapter and they're having any trouble, they can reach out to me directly. I'll put my email address in the chat, or they can always email ifma@ifma.org and we'll be able to assist. But if anyone was a part of the Cayman Islands chapter or the Barbados chapter, we already transferred the membership to the Caribbean chapter, so no need to do anything there. But yes, if anyone's outside of the region and wants to join, I say do it.
Okay,
Encourage it.
great. Thanks.
That's fantastic. So we have Deb. Deb is somebody who is a trainee, but Deb, are you here? I saw you come in and come off. Deb,
Hi, everyone. This is Deb Romaine. Apologies, just driving in traffic, so doing a couple of things at the same time, but did not want to miss this meeting. And I'm glad that question was asked because as a member of IFMA and a member of the New York City local chapter, but I have my Caribbean roots and Caribbean colleagues, we want to support this Caribbean IFMA. How do we do so? So it would be joining a second local chapter. How do we go about doing that? And that might have been asked by the gentleman from Ross University, but what do we do if we also want to join the IFMA Caribbean?
So you can reach out to me directly. I'll go ahead and write your name down and I'll email you and we can walk through those steps until the bug that we've identified has been corrected. But normally if someone is a current member, they can then add an additional chapter when they go to renew. And then they can also go to my.ifma to their profile and they can then add through, I think it's add components, and then they can add mid-year, and then it's a prorated fee.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, great. I'll do so, Mary. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to introduce Deb because Deb is also a volunteer on the membership committee. And we know sometimes she's freezing in the snow while she's talking to us, and sometimes she's here. So that she started the conversation several months ago about what about the diaspora, and we couldn't answer. Maybe we weren't ready to answer. So now maybe it'll be ready to answer. So fantastic. Anybody else?
Yeah, Eddie, I'd just like to jump in to add my voice to this celebration. Oh my goodness, this is such an amazing hallmark moment for us as Caribbean FM people, for the profession in the Caribbean. I think we really need to take this moment in because, as Mary said, it's been many years. We've been talking about it. Edward, Giselle, many of us over the years. Vaughan, we've had several Caribbean meetings over the years, and we're at now, with the efforts of Edward in the last year, pushed to make this happen. And we don't want to lose the momentum of how special this is. Everybody on this call, I know most of you, Jason, I see you, Marvin, I think we even met in Bahamas. Remember, Edward, we used to have these meetings. We had a meeting in Bahamas.
I remember, yeah.
In Barbados. This has been long in coming, and we don't want the passion for what we're all doing for IFMA and for the FM profession to be lost. This is really where we need the boots on the ground, as Giselle had mentioned. So please contact Edward. There are many roles to fill, and I know that there are going to be opportunities for people to be voted in, and all that stuff will come up.
Yeah.
But just at least for now, even though you don't know where you want to serve, just your willingness to serve, hit an email to Edward, and he will find a place for sure.
Yes.
To be done.
Yeah.
Even as I got to mention LinkedIn, somebody, Carla Reed, you remember Carla? We would have had, she's from Jamaica, and we had dinner, drinks with her at IFMA already at Woolworth Place. She's at Dubai. She reached out. She wants to be a part.
Nice.
So gather your friends, gather your teams, and let's make this really impactful to the profession and to the industry in the region. Thank you so much to Mary and all the work you and your team have done, and Eddie and everybody in the chapter. Really appreciate everybody.
Thanks. So when we started sending out communications, we had a list of about 130 or 40 IFMA members who were not attached to a chapter. And to me, so in some of you are maybe on that list, and that's how you got pulled into the WhatsApp or sent an email, because we did send an email to everybody. And then there were also FMs who weren't part of IFMA, and part of it might have been that they just didn't know enough about it, and because there was no chapter in that country, they didn't know how to get involved. So a lot of our work is going to be outreach, membership outreach, and so I think there's a lot of opportunity to grow the chapter and get a very robust group in the Caribbean. Yeah, I see Kadian from Jamaica on there. Kadian, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing well, being happy, being grateful, being very joyous of this opportunity to finally have representation in this region. I know it's
Yes.
been a conversation for Jamaica. We have been working behind the scenes for that chapter, but now we can say we have a group, we are part of a union that represents us, our joined experiences as a group. So definitely looking forward to be a part of this and looking for my email to say, yes, I'm a member.
Yes. All right. Yeah, and I've already gotten people when we did a poll to members, and we may not have hit all the members. We did a poll to members to get the approval to change the bylaws, and it was in doing that several people volunteered because we put a question: are you willing to volunteer? So I actually have a little list, and I've had a couple of people WhatsApping me during the meeting volunteering. So we will sit and go through that list. And so the next step, so we are a chapter. Welcome, get your glass, cheers.
Yes.
What's the next step? The next step is to start doing some planning. And we want to, the people who volunteer onto committees, we want to do a strategic planning session probably at the end of March, middle of March. I think we have it kind of tentatively set for. Can't be 100 people on the session, so it will be the country chairs and the people who volunteered onto committees. We'll have a session, so it will be a hybrid type session, of course, and we may end up having to have one-on-one. It will be fairly open, and to kind of just formulate ideas of how we move forward within the framework of IFMA chapters, because IFMA chapters have a framework. And so if you have volunteered, we look out, we will probably get an invite on that. Just to reiterate the question that Giselle asked me in the chat, and something I mentioned initially, is that the IFMA year does run from July 1 to June 30th, and our bylaws are now aligned with that. And so the call for nominations will go out like 90 days in advance, like end of March. We call for nominations, and again we use Monkey Survey to do it. And the nominations committee, the elections committee, is, according to the bylaws, right, is headed up by the past president, the immediate past president, which is Cindy this year, and she might pull together a couple of people to make a committee. First time we'll actually have a committee and not one person, Cindy. Right, so she and I have been talking about getting that done on time, right time, and stuff. And then that will be end of March. By the end of April, we'll then hold an election, and again it'll be a survey, and we'll do it pretty quickly. We'll use the WhatsApp as to make sure we get you reach out. It is only open to members, right? So non-members who will have to sit it out, and then we will announce that board way in advance at the end of the year. So we don't generally campaign. In fact, traditionally we kind of beg people to be on the board, and beg each other to stay on the board, and that kind of stuff. So, but perhaps that is changing, and perhaps as the years go on, we'll have a much more diverse board for people all over the Caribbean. So yeah, and so I'll see if there's anybody else. Tyrell has a hand raised. Great. We'll have that one more question, and then
hopefully you can hear me.
I can hear you. We can hear you.
Man, I just had to pull aside on the highway, man. I mean, my heart is full. I'm watching what has been achieved so far, and I'm in awe. Edward, a quick shout out to you. We remember there was a point in time where we were actually thinking of doing a Caribbean-centric piece of content for IFMA for World Workplace. And we all had our own ideas why it was not accepted. And I would really just want everybody to know that as ambassadors for the Caribbean, we have something to offer. And this sort of collective allows us to really influence the way things are done, not just in the Caribbean, not just in the Americas, but in the entire world, because we genuinely have something to share. I will also say for everybody who is considering to volunteer, there is something in it for you. And I mean, I probably need to drink my own Kool-Aid here. And Edward, you know why. But you know, there's an incredible amount of access that you get within the profession. And just to let you know, for everyone who has never volunteered for something like this, keep in mind that it is a credibility indicator to your career that not only you are a member of a professional association within your chosen career, but you are a actual volunteer, actual seat member, whether it's a committee chair, whether it's a board. You cannot go wrong. It is the check mark that you have been missing in your career journey. It breaks the ceiling. I am living proof of that. So congrats to the current board. Congrats to everyone who has got us here. Congrats to everybody who has helped build the path on the way. Amazing feeling, and my heart is full. All right, so kudos to everybody.
And we still have people coming on the call, and for some reason my volume is gone. Right, there it goes. Yes, Christed.
Hi, Edward, and hi, everyone, local, regional, and otherwise. I wanted to take the opportunity to, like everyone so far, to extend congratulations on this significant milestone, this significant accomplishment for the region, and even to echo the sentiments shared by Tyrell. Tyrell, nice hearing from you, my friend. We do have the capacity, we do have the ability to make a difference, whether it be lobbying in our respective countries for the improvement, for the standardizations, for ensuring our optimization of our buildings, our careers, but we also have the capacity to influence on a global stage. And to add to his point in a more definitive way, for those of you who may or may not be a part of the ISO standardization bodies who provide guidance on the new 4100 series, some of us here are involved and we are making those changes based on the local content or local experience that has relevance. So this opportunity is not one to take lightly, but I do want to stress a key point. Be committed, be resolved. If this is your passion, if this is your career, stick to it. And like Tyrell has given a testimony out of his life, it will serve you accordingly. So again, congratulations to the members of the Foundation Committee, members of IFMA, those at the executive level, and those who are joining in, and those who have been here on the journey for however long IFMA has been in its incarnation and transitioning from just being individual chapters in the region to now being one whole body. So thank you, God bless, and looking forward to how best we can work together going forward. Thanks, Eddie.
Thanks, Christel. All right, we're kind of out of time. Trella, I just got your message. Trella from Grenada, hailing you out. She just volunteered for duty, and so unfortunately, I'm just seeing a bunch of people joining at 6:30, and I have a feeling that we end up with some time zone miscommunication. So some people now coming on the call. So for those of you who just came on the call, I do apologize. The call was an hour ago, and I think we're gonna have to do a little more work on how we communicate the time in the future, because a bunch of people just came on. So I do apologize for that, but we're just about wrapping up. So if you just came on, what I would suggest, maybe give me a call tomorrow, WhatsApp me, and we could chat and we could just do a brief synopsis. So with all of that, I will.
Edward, if I may suggest,
Yeah.
sorry, Edward, just suggesting, I note that the session was recorded, and if you're so
We
inclined,
can
those who may
share.
have missed it, you can share the link here.
Thank you, Christine. Appreciate it. I'm just thinking on the fly. So yes, if you came on late, please let us know and we will share the video with you. And we're happy to do so. In fact, we probably share it with everybody. So thanks a lot for that one, Christine. And I do apologize to anybody who got the time wrong. So to all of you, all 69 of you being on the board, it's a tremendous start. Thank you very much. And be in touch. As I said, WhatsApp us, call us, message us, and we'll talk. See people still coming on the call. And have a good night. Thank you very much from Caribbean IFMA. Cheers.
Bye.
Take care. Bye,
Good
everyone.
night, all.
Good night,
Lawrence, nice
everyone.
seeing you, man, as well. Have a good one.
Good night,
Take
everyone.
care.
Congratulations, Eddie. Great work.
Thank you. Thank
Everyone.
you.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Eddie, you want to hang on just a bit? Maybe if anybody else coming, you can just let them know. Just probably have 5 or 10 minutes or so, maybe. You have time
Yeah.
for that? Just to
No,
kind of give them a heads up.
Unfortunately, I actually have people, because I just got caught. I have a board meeting started at 6:30. They were supposed to start at 5:30, and I begged them to shift the time. So I guess if any of you guys could stay on, that'd be great, but I can't.
Well, you hosting the meeting, so you have the
I can hand over. Only how can hand over. Well, first of all, let me stop recording.